Being a CEO of a company oftentimes sounds glamorous. People want to be the CEO or they want to be close to the CEO. And in reality, it could be a pretty lonely position because it is your job to see the vision and communicate it to others. And not everybody agrees with your vision. Some people want to challenge your vision. And so, what does it take? What does it take to be able to deal with that, the potential friction or passive aggressive behavior of staff or people that you serve who don't necessarily see your vision? There was a billionaire CEO that once said that the number one thing important to being a CEO is fitness. And I don't necessarily mean being fit, though it really does matter because you have to have the physical endurance and presence to be able to lead. But it also has to do with, emotional fitness to be able to have the fortitude to be lonely when no one else sees your vision. So communication, inspiration, public speaking, fitness, all these things actually come together to help make an amazing CEO. I'm reminded of Herb Brooks, and you may or may not remember him. He is the coach that led the U.S. hockey team to a victory against the Russians in the 80s. It was a pivotal moment in American history because we were in the middle of the Cold War. We had really just come out of, or were in the process of coming through a recession in the early 80s, and there was a lot of depression going around. People forget about that. The Russians had won like 5 gold medals, 5 Olympics in a row, and they were supposed to lose, right? I mean, the U.S. was supposed to lose. The Russians had the best team in the world, and you may or may not recall that professional athletes weren't allowed to compete in the Olympics. So these were the amateur athletes having to go up against the world best. Herb Brooks was hired to be the coach of that team, and they really just wanted him not to come in last place. And so when he came up with this, we're going to train like the Russians and the Canadians, we're going to take a hybrid approach, and right from the beginning, he stated, we're going to win. And the people are like, well, we don't have the budget for that. We don't want you to embarrass us. And he had the board that was funding his team had the scarcity and these limiting beliefs that they were communicating to him. And when you watch that movie, if you haven't seen that movie, it's absolutely brilliant. It's Kurt Russell's in the movie. Notice the entire time through the movie, he is the loneliest one in the movie. Only he really understands where he's taking people. People are challenging him constantly. It isn't until the very end of the movie, right after they win, that you see him walk into the hallway behind the stadium by himself. And I thought that that was quite fitting because in the victory, and he saw the vision come to conclusion, they had won. They'd beat the number one team in the world. He celebrated alone. Leadership can be very lonely. Being a CEO can be very lonely, and it requires fitness, vision, communication, inspiration for all of your team members. It's constant, and you have to be comfortable being alone because sometimes, and most of the time, you are.